Hello everyone, your friendly Captain Obet here, just talking to you from my hotel room in Anchorage. I'm all packed and dressed as you can see. I'm just about to leave for a flight to Hong Kong, having been here for just over 24 hours. So, the preparation that goes on before I even go to the airport, whether it's from a hotel or from home, is that I look at the flight planning as far as the actual route I'm going to take. I look at the weathers en route before we even depart Hong Kong or Anchorage as the case is today. So I do that through my flight folder, which is here. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little bit of glare there. Anyway, the flight folder is where the flight plan is. So if I open up the flight plan like that, it tells me the flight time is going to be just over 10 hours and 5 minutes. And we're going to need a trip fuel of 112.4 tons. I've already looked at that prior to me talking to you here. And our takeoff weight is, with our zero fuel weight, if you add the fuel that we need 126.2 tons of fuel today to go to Hong Kong. And I've got a zero fuel weight of 309,000 kilograms, giving us a total for takeoff weight of 434.2 tons. We use 1 ton for engine start and taxi to the holding point. So in here, I've had to look at all that data before I've even gone to the airport. The flight plan is normally loaded in the electronic flight bag, as we call it, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before the scheduled time of departure. Generally, we can have a look at it an hour before we have to report for duty. So it's well ahead of time that I can look at what I'm expecting. But in the flight plan, I look at all the weathers. I look at the possible diversion airports I could go to if I had to go there in an emergency on our way. So all the airports along the route, I examine all those and what the weather will be at the time that I'll be expected to be passing close or abeam of that airport. Got to be careful by reading all the NOTAMs or notice to airmen, NOTAMs. We'll look at those to make sure that the selected alternate airports are actually available at the time that we would be going past those airports. Sometimes a little bit of a technical delay or delay due to air traffic control from your departure point would make you fall into the category of the period where a particular airport that would have been available had you departed on schedule is no longer available. So these are the sort of things we look at. So all along the route, we've got airports all the time that we're looking at, updating the weather, and we'll be doing that for 10 hours all the way to Hong Kong. So that's the sort of planning that goes into all this. We've got a flight planning department and a dispatch department that look at all these things and present it to us to look at it before we head out to the airport. We also have in Cathay Pacific an integrated operations control center, or IOC as we call it. Now IOC look at everything. They look at the flight schedules, they look at any specifics that might be issued by specific governments or specific areas that the flight plan is intended to traverse, and if there's any volcanic ash in the route or change in weather or reported SIGMETs and so on, they will continue monitoring that during the flight and they will pass it over to us via the ACARS system that we have on board the aircraft. So once we're airborne, we're not alone. We've got an integrated operations control center that constantly looks at everything that we're doing and monitors the whole lot of everything we're doing and in flight. So integrated operations control center monitors every single thing once we're airborne. So I'll be off to the airport now, and once I get to the airport, I'll be updating you on what we actually do, the first actions we get to do once we get on board the aircraft. The aircraft is scheduled to land in about half an hour, and I'll be leaving my hotel room in about 10 minutes to meet the rest of the crew downstairs, and we'll be getting into the transport and onto the airport. Later then.